Hey everyone, welcome back to NovoFlix. Today we're diving into Netflix's new film, Night Always Comes, starring Vanessa Kirby. And let me tell you, this movie is a brutal but honest look at America's current economic crisis. This isn't your typical feel-good Netflix movie. Night Always Comes shows us the harsh reality of how many Americans are living just one paycheck away from homelessness. It's honestly depressing, but incredibly important. The film is directed by Benjamin Caron and based on Willy Vlautin's 2021 novel, The Night Always Comes. Sarah Conrad adapted the screenplay, and Kirby not only stars but also produces the film. She plays Lynette, a woman who has just one night to come up with $25,000 to save her family's home. The supporting cast includes Jennifer Jason Leigh, Zach Gottsagen, Stephen James, Randall Park, Julia Fox, Michael Kelly, and L.A. Roth. Together, they create this terrifying portrait of economic instability that honestly hits way too close to home. Now, fair warning, this movie doesn't have a happy ending. So if you're looking for something uplifting, maybe save this for another day. But if you want to understand what this film is really trying to say, stick around because we're breaking down everything. The plot. So here's what happens. Lynette, played by Vanessa Kirby, is working multiple jobs just to survive. She's trying to buy the house that she, her mother Doreen, and her developmentally disabled brother Kenny are currently renting. To make this happen, she needs her mom to co-sign a loan and put down $25,000. But here's where things go wrong. Doreen, played by Jennifer Jason Leigh, doesn't show up to the bank. Instead, she uses the $25,000 to buy herself a new car. When Lynette confronts her, Doreen basically says it's her money and she can spend it however she wants. She also throws in Lynette's face that she can't keep a job and has anger management issues. Lynette insists she's changed, but the damage is done. Now Lynette is in full panic mode. The house owner is offering her a deal $40,000 less than asking price. But there's another buyer willing to pay more, and if Lynette can't deliver that $25,000 by 9 and the next morning, the deal is off. So Lynette decides she's going to spend the entire night trying to get this money. Here's where we learn that Lynette works as an escort. She goes to one of her wealthy clients, Scott, played by Randall Park, and asks for a loan. Scott literally laughs in her face and says he wants sex instead. When she refuses, he hands her $1,000 as a parting gift and ends their arrangement. Lynette is so frustrated that she steals his car keys and takes his Mercedes, but then has a moment of clarity and abandons the car. Next, she visits her friend Gloria, played by Julia Fox, who also works as an escort and owes Lynette $3,000. Gloria is with a wealthy client at the time, so she pressures him until he opens his safe and gives Lynette $500. Before Gloria leaves with her client, she tells Lynette to lock up when she's done. But Lynette gets greedy. She tries to crack the safe's electronic code, but after 3 failed attempts, it locks her out completely. That's when she reaches out to Cody, played by Stephen James, who works at a bar. She'd heard he'd done time for theft, so she asks for his help. Reluctantly, Cody agrees to help her break into the safe for $800. They take the safe to some sketchy guy with a sledgehammer, and when they crack it open, they find way more than expected: 2 large bags of cocaine and $19,000 in cash. But the sketchy guy gets angry because he realizes Lynette has gotten him involved in some drug situation he didn't sign up for. He attacks them, but Cody and Lynette manage to escape. Lynette is excited because now she only needs $4,000 more to reach her goal. When Cody finds out about the Mercedes she stole, he offers her $4,000 for the car. They pick up Kenny and drive to where Lynette left the Mercedes. The car is still there, which surprises Cody. But then he gets angry with Lynette for 2 reasons. First, she still owes him the $800 she promised, and second, it turns out he never actually had $4,000 to give her anyway. He demands half the money from the safe. But when Lynette refuses, he grabs the entire bag and runs. That's when Lynette completely snaps. She hits Cody with her car, knocking him unconscious. She takes the money back but doesn't kill him instead. She leaves him the keys to the stolen Mercedes. But she's still $4,000 short, so she goes to see Tommy, played by Michael Kelly. And this is where we learn about Lynette's traumatic past. When she was just 16, she fell in love with Tommy, who then exploited her as a sex worker and got her involved in sex trafficking. This trauma is what caused her anger issues in the first place. Lynette tries to use this history as leverage to get Tommy to help her sell the cocaine for the remaining $4,000. Tommy finds a buyer willing to pay $3,000, gives her the address, but makes it clear this is the last time they'll ever interact. When Lynette goes to the address, she meets this creepy guy played by Leigh who offers her $4,000, but then tries to force her into sex. She manages to escape but crashes through a glass coffee table in the process. She makes it home with glass still in her back, and her mother Doreen helps remove it. The ending. Here's where everything falls apart. Despite everything Lynette has been through, despite all the money she's gathered, Lynette begs Doreen to co-sign the loan with her. But Doreen drops the final bomb. She refuses, saying she doesn't want to own or live in this house anymore because of all the bad memories it holds. Doreen admits she didn't tell Lynette this earlier because she didn't want her screaming and freaking out. Lynette realizes her mother never planned to help her. This entire night has been for nothing. When Lynette threatens to take Kenny with her, Doreen tells her that Kenny is actually afraid of her. She reminds Lynette of the dangerous situation she put Kenny in during the night's adventure. Doreen also points out that when Lynette ran away at 16 to be with Tommy, she had to take care of Kenny full-time. Lynette gets angry at her mother for victim, blaming her for being trafficked at 16 and for not protecting her then or supporting her now. But she also realizes that Doreen will protect Kenny in ways she never protected Lynette. Doreen reveals she's arranged for her and Kenny to live with a friend, and Lynette isn't invited. But it gets worse. The homeowner calls and tells Lynette he's changed his mind and chosen the other buyer anyway. Even if Doreen had co-signed, they still wouldn't have gotten the house. Lynette says goodbye to her brother, leaves money for Gloria, and writes a letter to her mother, presumably returning the money she stole from Gloria's client's safe. In the letter, she thanks Doreen for finally being honest about what she needed to hear. She says she has no regrets about fighting for her family, but she's finally ready to stop trying to hold them together and focus on her own life. The movie ends with Lynette driving away alone. What does it all mean? The ending is both heartbreaking and liberating. It's devastating that Lynette went through all this suffering only to lose both the house and her family. But there's something hopeful about her finally realizing she can't keep fighting a battle she'll never win. Hopefully, Lynette will be able to build a life for herself, and Doreen will take care of Kenny as she promised. In my opinion, this film is a complete rejection of that classic American dream mentality, the pull yourself up by your bootstraps idea. Lynette literally did everything humanly possible to improve her family's situation. She worked multiple jobs, she put herself in dangerous situations, she fought tooth and nail. But her best efforts still weren't enough. By the end of the film, Lynette finally gives up on the myth that if you just work hard enough and suffer enough, you'll achieve financial stability. And as depressing as that sounds, there's actually something freeing about letting go of that lie. The movie is essentially saying that sometimes the system is so broken that individual effort isn't enough. Sometimes the American dream is just that, a dream that keeps people trapped in cycles of struggle and false hope. It's a brutal message, but an important one in today's economic climate where so many people are barely hanging on despite working harder than ever. What do you think? Did you see Night Always Comes differently? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, make sure to like and subscribe for more.